My wet socks, welcome back to another video. In episode 12 of the present season of Happily Ever After, Jasmine airs out what we already knew, that Gino has a really bad corn addiction.
Stop putting makeup on the real sexual problem you have.
No, it's not a sexual problem.
You do.
I'm telling you what it is.
You
are saying very hurtful things.
You do, and you don't want to seek help.
Neville Goddard once said, "Change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. Do not try to change people. They are only messengers telling you who you are. Revalue yourself and they will confirm the change."
Gino, do you know what the big problem is?
I know what, I just told you what the problem is. Are you deaf?
Your addiction to pornography.
Hey Gino, step into my office. We're gonna discuss your corn addiction in today's video. Forget about it. So first and foremost, what you're doing is cranking your meat and wasting your loads to women on the internet that you don't know. And it's also placing you in this cuck position because if you stop and think about it, what you're doing is jerking off to another guy penetrate a girl. Would you get turned on watching another man bang your woman? No, right? That just sounds like a murder scene waiting to happen.
Don't sit there and try to lie about
Yes, you do.
Don't lie about
Yes, you do. I'm not lying.
Yes, you are lying.
I'm not lying.
You are way out of...
I'm not
yes,
lying.
you are.
And I don't give a and I said it.
You're a liar.
According to a 2024 study, 11% of men and 3% of women in the United States report some agreement with the statement, "I am addicted to pornography." So obviously what we're talking about in today's video doesn't just affect Gino, but this is a big problem in our society, and it makes sense because porn is so easily accessible, whether you're gonna watch it on your phone, on your laptop, on your iPad. Maybe you're like James Franco and you like to read. For Gino, it doesn't make any sense how you've moved for a number of reasons. First and foremost, he has spent so much money in order to buy all this cosmetic surgery for his wife Jasmine, yet he has problems in the bedroom still. It's very different visually looking at girls that have a lot of cosmetic surgery versus in the bedroom feeling the merchandise, right? Jerking your meat to something from an angle that's not realistic because you're not going to be a cameraman. Like even the angles are not going to be the same when you're with a real life girl. So you're setting yourself up for an experience that you're never going to experience and wiring your brain in a way where that experience gives you pleasure, but that takes away from a natural experience of making love to a woman.
Gino, do you think she got the right size?
At least.
I like bigger.
Clearly.
He's an ass.
I like big booty. What can I say?
In our last video on these two knuckleheads, we talked about a lot of issues in their relationship. Specifically, Jasmine feels very disrespected because Gino believes it's his way or the highway because he pays for everything. So she feels financially controlled by Gino. To add on to that, I believe that Jasmine is mentally checked out of this relationship. Given how calm she was when he was disrespecting her, in the past, she would have thrown a lot of tantrums.
Bachelor parties are a normal thing, okay?
My wet socks, when we first see Gino and Jasmine, he's picking up food from Rose's to go, and the title of today's episode is Cornocchio, like Pinocchio, but with corn because Gino has an addiction. Production got really silly with the title. The bartender then asked Jasmine and Gino if they'd like to order a drink while they're waiting for his food to be prepared, and Jasmine says, "Yes, I'll have a black coffee," and Gino orders a lemonade. Then he informs the audience that him and Jasmine haven't spoke since their fight yesterday. Gino says to the audience, "Jasmine was so upset that I didn't pay for the pageant fee and she threw a smoothie at me." Gino goes on to say that Jasmine was totally out of control yesterday, and because today is his family's reunion, he's very concerned how she's going to act at the function. Gino also mentions that he doesn't want his family to get the impression that they aren't happy and they're not doing well together as a couple. Which is jokes of Gino to say because him and Jasmine have never been doing good together as a couple, and present day they're not even together anymore.
You're not planning acting like this at the reunion, are you? Ignoring me, you know, the feeling of tension between us.
Gino, how about apologizing to Jasmine for all the rude things that you said to her yesterday, right? That would be a good start. But Gino isn't the brightest bulb in the cookie jar when it comes to social cues or overall awareness. Does he pay for things? Absolutely. But when you enter a relationship paying for everything, it's going to be interpreted by the woman that you're going to continue to pay for everything. So it doesn't really seem like those are nice gestures anymore because that was the dynamic from the start. Do you guys pick up what I'm putting down here? In terms of emotional intelligence, Gino is so behind. And as a 54-year-old man that doesn't have children, has lived in the United States his whole life, and works as an engineer, it's one of those things where you're not very desirable, to be honest. Like if I was a woman, I would look at you and I'd be like, swerve. Especially given how you've treated women in the past, those sugar babies, the escorts, the strippers. Gino has a long history of using money to attract these women and then holding money over their head. And it's a huge problem that he needs to work on in addition to the corn addiction.
What?
This family reunion is really important to me. All my family's gonna be there.
So right away, if I was Jasmine, I would be saying to myself, you care more about how you look and saving face in front of your family than how I feel. That's super unattractive.
You know, I don't wanna walk in the family reunion and have them see that we have tension between us.
Okay, Gino, you're doing a good job of communicating what you want from Jasmine. What about what she wants? She feels unheard, and in the last episode, she communicated that to you and the audience. Once again, you're ignoring her concerns.
Are you planning to apologize? For calling me crazy, for calling me insane.
What do you mean apologize? I think you should apologize.
Gino, you're trolling. What should she apologize for? Wanting to hit cardio at the gym? Come on.
You were yelling and screaming at me, and why are you throwing smoothies at me?
Oh, okay, never mind. He wants her to apologize for throwing a smoothie at his feet so that he could easily dodge. Okay, he wants to play the victim for the smoothie situation. Here's the thing with this. It's not like she pulled a baby girl Lisa and threw a drink in his face. Any other guy would probably laugh off the smoothie situation and not use it as ammo to bring up with this girl later and try to make her feel like she's in the wrong.
You got it all over.
You
got
mean?
it all over.
What do you
got
mean
it
by,
all
no,
over
don't
my
beat
brand
me
new shoes.
the hand.
These shoes are a week old. You got your smoothie all over my brand new shoes. That's unacceptable behavior.
That is unacceptable, Jasmine. What's also unacceptable is paying for a woman's entire life to attract her in the first place and then changing up once she arrives in the United States. Not to mention in the last episode, Gino, you called your wife a botch, called her crazy multiple times, and insinuated that she was on her period.
I didn't throw it at you. I threw it on the floor because I didn't want it and you happened to be there.
That's the angriness I'm talking about.
Because you made me feel that way, Gino.
You can't act like
I don't want to. But you made me act that way.
We're all in control of our own words and actions, so I disagree with Jasmine here. However, it is true that Gino was saying and doing things in order to get an emotional response out of her the last episode. It just seems like he was testing the out of her the entire time.
That's not how a woman acts.
To.
That's not how a woman acts. How you act is not how a man acts. You seem like a spoiled brat that was babied by his parents. No wonder why you don't have a family and you don't have kids at 54 years old. You're obviously the problem.
At the moment that I exploded, it was very frustrating because I feel like you have all the powers and I'm like a freaking dog that I have to obey your orders. Okay?
No, don't sit there saying that I order you around. I tell you what to do and order you around.
Jasmine brings up a really good point here. She's also being very respectful about the situation. She's not raising her voice, which given the way she's acted in the past, it's growth. It does show growth, whether you like Jasmine or not. The problem with Gino is that he's not allowing her to speak. Whenever she says something that bruises his ego, he feels the need to talk over her and defend himself. It's like he's not even listening to what she's saying.
This is why I raise my voice. Because you don't listen.
That is not true.
That's not true, Jasmine. I'm going to continue to speak over you because what you're saying isn't true. It is true. There's a certain level of truth to it. Otherwise, you wouldn't get so hot and bothered about what she's saying.
I've been trying to help you out since you've been here, and I've done so much for you. And I want you to start appreciating that.
I hear the word appreciate one more time, and I'm going to lose my.
Since the dawn of mankind, men have been providing and looking out for women. So naturally, paying for a woman is the bare minimum. And I hate to be the guy that breaks the news to everyone that doesn't think the same way. However, as a man, you should want to financially look out for your woman. If she wants to have a job, that's great. If she wants to contribute, great. But if you're not in a place to where you can put a girl on scholarship, you should not communicate the message that you're gonna bring her to the United States. You should not off rip be paying for everything, which is what Gino has done to get her over here. So all of a sudden, he wants to take everything that he's paid for since the beginning of the relationship and hold that over this girl's head and make her feel like she should kiss his feet and get on her knees and praise Gino. The savior complex is astounding, Gino. Jasmine can make her own money, and we see that by how she launched her OnlyFans and she's banking on there. You make every conversation about money. We don't have the money for the beauty pageant, Jasmine. Well, if you don't have a couple $100 or $1,000, whatever it is, why'd you take her on a trip to Miami? Last episode, you paid for 2 smoothies that were $15. This episode, you're picking up takeout. How much does that cost instead of cooking? If anything, it seems like you're very comfortable spending money on things that you want to spend money on or that you find an appropriate use of the fundage. But when it comes to your woman, you're holding her on this leash because you're so afraid that she's gonna leave you for a better man. It's only a matter of time, and that's what we see present day. So funny enough, Jasmine goes on to say something similar to what I just said. She says, I can't believe the audacity from Gino. I don't know what he wants me to do. Make a monument in the house, put candles, and pray him with flowers? Yeah, to be honest, we've all watched Jasmine and Gino's antics both on and off the show. Every time that he's done something nice for her, she's said thank you or shown gratitude in another way. So I'm unsure what he's on about. Jasmine goes on to say that Gino's the one that led her to this current state of mind from breaking promises and trying to sabotage the pageant for her. Jasmine goes on to say that Gino doesn't appreciate the day-to-day things she does for him, such as cooking, cleaning, etc. He believes that she's obligated to do all those things because she's his wife. Here's the thing, Gino, if you want this relationship dynamic, you have to be making that bread as a provider. So you should go back to work because life costs money. Jasmine, the spicy Latina, goes on to say a savage line about Gino. I can't wait to read it to you. She says, Gino has this sense of entitlement. He thinks he's this American hero that traveled to a third world country and saved me from my misery. Fuck you, Gino. You're not. Hey, Jasmine, I feel that, but you also left your kids in Panama, married Gino, and came over here to live with him in the United States. If you were aware of how he is and how he acts, why would you go through with that? It just seems like y'all used each other in different ways.
I don't want to be arguing and fighting in front of my family. That's all I'm asking. I'm not telling you to do something. I'm saying
Yes,
try.
you are.
I'm saying try.
You say try, but if I don't act accordingly, you get mad at me and you're putting expectations on me.
No, I'm saying try.
Oh, whatever, Gino. Why should she have to put on a fake face and act like everything's normal in front of your family when you haven't even apologized to her yet?
The only person I care about her expectations is my mother, because I came to this world through her vagina. That hurts. And that's the only person whose expectations I care about. The rest of the world,
Gino responds to Jasmine, well, that's no way to be, Jasmine. Listen, you dingleberry. She's trying to communicate to you how she wants to be accepted and loved. One of my favorite Billy Joel songs is Just the Way You Are, and I recommend that Gino gives that song a serious listen because his lack of consideration in this relationship with Jasmine has cost him a pretty penny. It's obvious to everyone that at first she felt safe with Gino and comfortable because she thought to herself, there's no way this man would cheat on me looking like that. Next thing you know, he's sending her nudes to his ex. Since then, the relationship has been downhill because the circle of trust was broken. Jasmine then reminds the audience that she comes from one of the most beautiful countries and cities in the entire world, and moving to Michigan is certainly a downgrade, especially because the only person she knows here is Gino. She has no support system, no friends and family here. And while we're on this topic, does anyone find it strange that Gino doesn't seem to have any friends? The only people we see him hang out with are strippers and his family. And speaking of family, the next time we see Jasmine and Gino is at his family reunion. Right away at the reunion, we got a garage band situation. Some of the family members are singing a song about a bunch of little Ginos without hats running around, alluding to Gino potentially having children one day. Hopefully the kids that Gino has in the future don't play sports, because otherwise he's gonna make them feel bad about driving them to practice.
She hasn't really been doing anything here. She hasn't been going out.
I just took her to the movies. I take her to the gym every day. That's a lot.
It's not
It's a lot. It is a lot to take someone, drive someone back and forth.
Oh, Jasmine, it's so exhausting for me to drive you to and from the gym. By the way, will you bear my children?
And it is a tradition to play live Italian music during the family reunion.
Gino, are you okay? What we just heard was in no way, shape, or form Italian music. This guy doesn't eat Italian, dress Italian, live Italian. Unfortunately, though, he is of Italian descent.
I'm not an expert, but that's not Italian music playing.
I guess Jasmine's favorite family member of Gino's is Uncle Marco because he's a super swell guy. She then proceeds to give the whole fam bam hugs.
Dana, Tony,
Michelle, Anthony.
Tony.
How many Tonys in the family?
Anyways, Marco says it's time to eat, so everyone starts making their plate. Now let's talk about the food because we live to eat, we don't need to live. It appears to be cafeteria style. They all say it tastes good though. Jasmine then reminds one of the family members that he forgot Jasmine's vegan meat and he points at Gino because he's right there. No, I'm just kidding. Gino's family is very engaging with Jasmine. They ask her how her birthday was, and she informs them that they went to Miami and she loves that city. It's all laughter. And then she brings up that now she's gonna enter this beauty pageant.
But Gino told me that I cannot do it, and that is very cruel.
I didn't say you can't do it. I said I have to try to find a way to get the money.
How much is it?
$1,200.
That's not too bad, Gino.
As we're all aware, this is the reoccurring theme for this relationship, right? When Gino isn't paying, it's not going good. I agree that $1,200 is not that much money when you spent the majority of your life working as an engineer in the United States.
To be honest, everything went down to drain after we came back from Miami.
Now, I do just want to say the way that Jasmine brought this up, she loses points for that because this is a joyous occasion and it catches Gino off guard. He starts shaking his head. This right here is what makes this couple so interesting to review. There's not a clear-cut good guy and bad guy. They're both assholes at times.
She actually flew from Panama to the United States to live
To be
here.
with you.
So driving her to the gym really isn't that.
It's a lot of work, okay? It is.
You knew that she went and worked out every day. Taking her to the gym is not that big of a deal.
It's a big deal for me because it's a lot of driving back and forth.
But you're not working.
You shouldn't wash your dirty laundry on the street. However, Jasmine's tried to communicate and get her message across to Gino multiple times, and he still refuses to act right. So I'm assuming she thinks that if she asks his family for advice, maybe they can get through to him.
I'm sick and tired of her getting angry and say hurtful things to me like you do. That's wearing me out to the point where I have a hard time being intimate with you because all the hurtful things you say to me.
You guys, I can't believe he just casually brought up his sex problems in front of his family like this. This is so embarrassing. Look at their faces. Dude wants to have a baby but acts like a baby himself. Your wife is trying to hold you accountable for promises you've gone back on, and this is your reaction, Gino?
Well,
Very
I
hurtful.
didn't bring any intimacy topic, but you're venting it out to your family.
I don't want to be affectionate with someone like that. So it has not been good.
This is so brain dead. He's really blaming his wife Jasmine for his lack of sex drive because he jerks his meat to corn. His argument is so stupid. Jasmine's so mean to me, you guys. Imagine dropping bands at the Build-A-Bitch workshop to buy your chica a new body and instead choosing to crank your meat to strangers on the internet. Wow, it's a new level of weirdo behavior. No wonder Gino resembles those peanuts from the Proud Family movie. And here's the thing, let me cook for a second. If you give something for free away to a stranger, does it have value? Probably not, right? And what are sperms but copies of us? So what do you think about yourself, Gino? Look around, Socks. His family's so shook this conversation took a turn. Meanwhile, Jasmine's horrified and embarrassed that Gino brought up their sex life in front of his family like this. Huge invasion of privacy, but Gino knows all about that. Mr. sending nudes to his ex. Gino's family advises them to resolve their issues, cope with them, or end the relationship. After the family reunion, they drive home to discuss Gino's corn addiction. The problem is that he refuses to admit he has a problem in the first place.
I'm not addicted to porn. Have I watched before? Yes, but I'm not addicted to it. She thinks I'm addicted to porn because I'm not being intimate with her. She wants to put the blame on me.
What can I say? Classic Gino, am I right? That's exactly something someone with a corn addiction would say. Unfortunately, my wet socks, cut conditioning is running rampant in our society. Obviously, a lot of us have been programmed, Gino.
Looking at my eyes.
You are always
to lie. And now I get it. Why you never marry someone from your culture?
Jasmine goes on to bring up a very good point, which is no American woman would put up with this amount of disrespect, which is why he seeks out foreign women. Not really a shocker that Gino can't handle Jasmine's brutal honesty, so he goes back into the house. I'm curious whether he jerked off to corn right after this argument with her in defiance. Jasmine, how could you tell everyone about my corn addiction? I'll show you. Oh, pfft.